Do you believe something could be watching us, even in the most ordinary moments? During a peaceful sunset, an amateur camera captured a secret hidden among the clouds. A UFO, visible only to those who dared to look closer. What they saw next changed everything. This account was sent to our channel by someone who asked to remain anonymous. The experience you're about to hear changed this person's life forever, and to this day, they're still trying to understand what really happened. It all started on a Sunday afternoon, at one of the most beautiful scenic overlooks in the area. The sky was clear, the sun was sinking into the horizon and painting everything golden, and a group of amateur photographers had gathered to capture that magical moment. It was the kind of scene that felt way too perfect to hide any sort of threat. Maybe that's why no one suspected a thing. I'm part of that group, and I was carrying my camera as usual. There were about 15 of us, each looking for the best angle, laughing together, sharing tips. It was a light, cheerful atmosphere, full of excitement. The last thing on anyone's mind was the possibility of being watched. I took dozens of photos that afternoon. Some focused on the sun, others on the clouds, which were few but made interesting shapes in the sky. I remember at one point seeing a slightly denser formation, like a small gray cloud standing alone. I thought it looked a little odd, but didn't pay much attention. I was focused on capturing the perfect light, the silhouettes of the trees against the sunset. Hours later, already home, I started reviewing the photos on my computer. It was a ritual I loved, analyzing every shot, adjusting colors, cropping frames. But that night, something stopped me cold. In one of the photos, right at the edge of the frame, almost hidden behind the gray cloud I had found curious, there was a metallic structure. An oval shape, with edges lightly glowing from the reflection of the sun. It wasn't a plane. It wasn't a drone. It wasn't anything I could explain. I stared at that image for several minutes, trying to find a logical explanation. Maybe a lens flare? Some optical distortion? But the other photos, taken in sequence, showed the same thing, in slightly different positions, as if the object were slowly moving behind the cloud. The shock was inevitable. A strange feeling washed over me. It was as if that pleasant memory of the sunset had suddenly been tainted by something unknown and deeply unsettling. Before I go on, I need to ask you something important. Follow our channel so you don't miss the next stories, which, for reasons of national security, might be taken down at any moment. I still hesitate to share this. Part of me feels scared. Another part knows I have to speak out. That's when everything started to change. And what I discovered afterward only made it even scarier. That night, after discovering the strange object in the photos, I tried to rationalize it in every way. I researched atmospheric phenomena, looked up images of drones and even satellites in orbit. But nothing resembled what my lens had captured. It was as if something was really there, disguised, hoping not to be noticed. I decided to show the images to a few friends from the photography group. I arranged a quick meetup at a cafe, trying to act casual. When I opened my laptop and zoomed in on the photo, the room went silent. No one laughed, no one made jokes. One of the older friends just muttered, "That's not from around here." Fear started to grow inside me. It was a different kind of fear. Not the fear of something you can fight or avoid. It was the fear of the unknown, of the invisible. Something that could be there, watching, without you even having the chance to notice. Some suggested getting the image analyzed. But others, more cautious, warned of the risk. You don't know who you might be dealing with. Better to leave it alone. Those words echoed in my mind for days. The following nights were the worst. I constantly felt like I was being watched. Sometimes, when I turned off the lights, I would see shadows by the window or hear subtle sounds in the yard. No concrete evidence, just a pressure in my chest and a gut feeling that something was wrong. One night, I woke up to a strange sound outside. A faint vibration, like a hum, echoed through the darkness. I peeked through a crack in the curtain and, for a moment, I swear I saw a faint, orange light hovering over the field behind my house. I blinked and the light was gone. It happened so fast, but it left me with an emptiness and a terror that's hard to describe. I didn't tell anyone about what I saw that night. Not even my photographer friends. I felt like the more I talked about it, the more I exposed myself to something I didn't understand. I just wanted it to go away. I just wanted to forget. But forgetting was impossible. Every time I looked at those photos, it felt like I noticed more details. The metallic outline, the subtle shadows cast on the surrounding clouds, the way the objects seemed to blend in, it was as if it was designed not to be seen, but somehow I had crossed a line. And it was too late to turn back. Before I continue, let me ask you something really important. If you're into real stories about alien encounters and believe this kind of information needs to be protected, follow the channel right now. It's the only way we can keep bringing you stories like this, ones that could be taken down at any moment by forces that don't want you to know the truth. What happened in the days that followed was even more disturbing. The days that followed felt like living in a parallel reality. Everything seemed normal on the outside, but inside, something had changed permanently. I tried to stick to my routine, work, family, hanging out with friends. But there was always this shadow, this constant feeling that I was being watched. One night, while I was trying to sleep, I heard soft knocks at the back door. It wasn't the wind, it wasn't the house settling with the cold. It was 3 gentle, rhythmic taps like something or someone was trying to get my attention. I froze in bed, my heart pounding so hard it felt like it filled the entire room. I couldn't move for several minutes. When I finally worked up the courage to peek through the kitchen window, there was no one there. Just the emptiness of the night and the distant sound of crickets. The next day, I decided to delete the photos from my computer. Something inside me screamed that keeping those images was like keeping a door open to something I didn't understand. But, for some reason I can't even explain, I couldn't do it. It was as if part of me knew that they needed to be preserved, while another part was terrified of what they might bring. I started noticing small signs in my daily life. Electronics failing without reason, lights flickering, radio signals interfering with the TV sound, and the most disturbing part, recurring dreams. In those dreams, I was back at the overlook, but the sky wasn't golden. It was pitch black, without stars, without a moon. And there, hovering above me, was that same metallic object. It made no sound. It only radiated an oppressive, suffocating presence, as if every cell in my body was screaming for me to run, but I couldn't move a muscle. I would wake up drenched in sweat, my body aching, as if I had run for miles. I even thought about seeking help, but who would believe me? How could I explain that after just one photo, my life had turned into a constant nightmare? At one of our photography group meetups, I tried to casually find out if anyone else had noticed anything strange. To my surprise, one of the friends who had been at the overlook that day said his camera had started malfunctioning inexplicably after that afternoon. His photos, oddly enough, were corrupted. Not a single image of that sunset survived. It was as if something was trying to erase the evidence. After that, we drifted apart. Everyone went back to their lives, maybe trying to forget what we saw, or almost saw. But I know, I saw it. And deep down, I'm sure they know I saw it too. And that feeling of being targeted by something that goes beyond our understanding is something I carry with me to this day. Even now, telling this story, I feel a chill run down my spine. Just remembering that metallic object hidden behind the cloud makes my heart race, as if the danger were still lurking out there, invisible to everyone except me. I spent months trying to move on. I avoided talking about it, avoided looking at the sky for too long, even avoided going through old photos. But the fear never really left. It settled inside me, like a persistent shadow. I started noticing that sometimes certain cars would drive by my street a little too slowly. Strange men, wearing dark glasses, would sit at nearby cafes, always watching, always being just discreet enough for it not to seem like a coincidence. Maybe it sounds like paranoia. I wanted to believe that too. The problem is, the fear doesn't come from what I think I saw. The fear comes from the certainty of what I wasn't supposed to see. I don't know if what we captured that afternoon was just a coincidence or if we witnessed something that wasn't meant to be recorded. But I do know that after that day, the world lost a bit of its innocence for me. The sky is no longer just beautiful. The clouds are no longer just random shapes floating above us. Now, every time I look up, I feel a mix of fascination and terror. The same feeling of someone who knows something is up there, but would rather not see it. If there's one thing I've learned from this experience, it's that the truth is often hidden right in front of our eyes. And the scariest part is that most of us choose not to see it. The image of that object is burned not only into my photos, but into my memory, like a scar that never fully heals. Are we being constantly watched? Are our skies home to visitors we've learned to ignore out of fear of what we might discover? I don't have those answers. I only have my story, and the certainty that on that day, during that seemingly perfect sunset, we were not alone. If you've made it this far, I have a very important favor to ask. Like this video, follow our channel, and share this story. Stories like this could disappear from the internet at any moment. Your help is essential so that more people can wake up to the truth. Do you really believe we're alone? Or do you just prefer to believe it so you can sleep at night?